Check this button. G'day, Stu from UAVFutures here. Welcome to our Happy Flying episode number 22, 22 weeks in a row where we get together, talk all things FPV, but I'm going to go through some housekeeping. We've got a heap to talk about today. Some things might be a little bit controversial. We've got DJI, radios, broken batteries, a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. However, let's just go through, see what is happening with the chat and just get some confirmations as I set some of this up that the audio is actually working. So I'm not just sitting here talking to myself because that would be a little bit more embarrassing than usual. It looks like the stream is going out okay to YouTube. Audio is good, camera is good. That is from Random FPV, so a double thumbs up. There we go. Thanks for tuning in. Some of the things we've got coming up in the show, and today it might be, I guess every week seems to be a little bit different. We're going to be answering your questions about FPV. We really need to talk about some radios that are hitting the market, and maybe a little bit of controversy. If you haven't heard about that, some people seem to be getting a little bit too obsessed about the GX12 and understanding that different opinions are great. That's what makes our hobby fantastic. But as a bit of an overview of what you can expect as people are tuning in, we're going to be talking about like a little bit of mental health and checking in, and also having something special after the stream, a bit of like a personal catch up with you guys. We're going to be answering questions specifically about this. This is what I've got written on my little run sheet here. So this is the Radio Master GX12. And if you have thought about getting this radio and you would like to ask some specific questions, this is going to be your chance, because I've done a couple of videos on this. It seems to be the hot topic in FPV right now. It really is a feature-packed radio that I think a lot of people are going to find some use for, and some other people with giant meat cleaver hands might have some questions about it. We're going to talk a little bit about searching for walk-snail albino flies and where we're up to with DIY FPV. If you don't know what DIY FPV is, you definitely want to stay tuned, and that launch is coming very, very soon. We have this new radio right here. So we'll be talking a little bit about this as well. Seems like there's a lot of radios on the market actually at the moment. So this is very exciting if you're a pilot who flies around with your thumbs. However, is it going to be better than the Pocket? Well, there's pros and cons of each, but you got to go a long way to beat the Pocket. Like, the Pocket has been an outstanding radio for a long time, and for good reason. So we'll be talking about the radio, about the Jumper Bumblebee radio. This feels like everything we're talking about today, this is going to be maybe a bit of a theme of today's stream, as well as answering your questions in FPV. And let me know, what have you been flying? What do you actually fly with? What is your main radio? We're going to be talking a lot about radios today. We are going to talk about like flying broken batteries. I see this question pop up all the time, and a bit of a safety announcement. So if you've got some lipos, I'm going to give you best practice, safest practice, and then also some advice, which I would say, don't follow this. Don't do as I do as I say. So when do I fly a broken battery and all that sort of stuff? Because lipos are no joke. I've seen them have some serious consequences, you know, and people have lost their houses and that sort of stuff. We're going to be talking about pinchers and thumbers, and like what is the best way to hold your radio, the pros and cons of each. And ultimately, I see a lot of people also talking about neck straps and pinching, and calling thumbing like it's not the best way to do something. You're sort of selling yourself short. And even though I thumb, I kind of feel like maybe they're onto something right there. And then I got these, right? Check these out. We have these bad boys. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the Goggles N3, and probably the big one for me, DJ won't like me saying this, but do you see this button here? I'm pretty sure that's like meant to be a normal switch, right? Like, I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know if those clicks are coming through in there, but I'm pretty excited about these, like the DJI Goggle N3s. But yeah, if I was like, okay, click. Oh, is it meant to be stuck there? And I have to manually push it back. Is that a feature? Is that a bug? Is that broken, or is that how DJI plans it to be? I'm not too sure. So that's what it's good about not being on any NDAs or anything with DJI. Anything we find, we can absolutely talk about and show you. But yeah, mine came out of the box like that. My DJI goggles. We're going to be talking about them. And yeah, maybe they're broken off the get-go. But some other exciting things we are coming up as well. And then after the stream, I'm going to be doing something special. So over on my Patreon, or not Patreon, I should say, although if you want to join my Patreon, that would be fantastic. Over on my Discord, which should be linked below. I'm sure somebody can double check that for me. I'm going to jump in there and just have a bit of a chat. Like, I want to hang out with you guys. This is the best part of my working week. So rather than just me talking all the time, I think maybe Props Off might be in there as well. Just hanging out. If you'd like to come say hello on a more personal level, that's not just like through the text of the screen or anything like that, we'll be in there. Probably learning about what you're flying. What are your FPV experiences like? All that sort of stuff. Now, on that note, let me just have a look at the chat right here, because I saw a couple of people having a chat. It's great to see the UAVFutures, like the live stream family, the FPV family, getting in here, saying hello, hanging out, and yeah, it's just it is great to see. It's also really, really hot here at the moment, so if I am perspiring a lot, that would be why. I would love to have the aircon pumping. It's just far too noisy when it comes to the audio on this microphone, so that's going to be there as well. Let's have a look at the chat, though, before we jump in with the topics of today's stream. And I really want to know what are you flying, and especially if you've got some questions, because I got an email question that I need to answer as well. We're doing that live on the stream because a video is worth 1,000 pictures, which is worth 1,000 words. So there you go. There's 1,000 times 1,000. That whoop going by Stu's head was hysterical. All right, so I think they're talking about we did a review of this the other day. And shout out to Stickman. Oh, why do I need to go to YouTube? I actually have this video on my computer. That's much easier to show you. We don't have to watch any ads then. Who puts ads on their YouTube videos? So if I go here, check this out. Right here, we get this screen, do a little bit of screen sharing right now, and there's my run sheet. So recently, this is the Hummingbird V3, and this is the race spec version, and hopefully please don't freeze my computer. We reviewed this the other day. Okay. It was really, really crazy. However, what they're talking about right there, that going past my face at 1,000,000 miles an hour was very, very scary. So I didn't plan to do that. Oh yeah, and pineapple on pizza. It looks like a lot of people had some chats about that as well. Where is this bit where it goes past my face? Anyway, it became pretty close. I definitely don't have the skills to play that. Oh, I sort of freaked out just a little bit. So yeah, if you're going to fly around a whoop, don't fly any drone near your face. It can get a little bit dangerous, but definitely a cool drone. That video, I think, went live last night is when it's scheduled, so definitely go check that out. However, let's get on with the stream, hang out with you guys. And Kiz, he's in the chat as well. Let me know who is here watching. Kiz is saying, there he is, former Mr. Australia, the man with the plan, and that plan is to have a good day. So yeah, there we go. G'day. Spaceman FPV, he's in the chat as well, saying hello, saying, yo, Stu, I got a friend in Seymour, Victoria. Know anybody that flies in that area because they are looking. I think the best bet if you want to find somebody is going to maybe just wait. Like, oh man, I really want to say the date, but look, I mean, things are very, very close. And if you head on over, I know I talk about it a fair bit, but this is going to be so exciting. If we head over here, you will be able to go to DIY FPV very, very shortly. I know we have waited. We have waited, guys. You have been so patient, but very soon you're going to see this map right here populated with a whole ton of pilots around you. So if you would like to fly with other people, make sure you signed up to DIY FPV. That, like, I could give you advice like go here or look on Facebook and all that sort of stuff, but this is going to supersede everything. So any of that other information that I give you, if you want to fly with other people, it will be outdated. It will be irrelevant as soon as this launches. So this is going to be the best place to meet and fly with other pilots. Find your stores, find events, find cool flying spots. I didn't really plan to talk about DIY FPV, but I guess it just kind of like I did about some other things. But yeah, this just came up naturally and organically, and yeah, very very exciting. Sign up to that because that's going to be my number one tip if you want to meet people and fly with people. And that's probably why the site is a little bit later in terms of launching, because that feature was so important. Once we realized, hey, we need this map here. Like, well, now we need to also message people here. It has grown so much, but the project is incredible and it's going to be released and launching very, very soon. Without me giving a date, there is like a date in my calendar and like I have the launch video planned. Everything is like good to go. You will see that popping up on my channel very, very soon if you want to. I mean, like what sort of exciting dates are coming up? You know, I don't know, like in December, it's almost the end of the year. What could possibly be, what holidays could people possibly be having, and what causes of celebration could we have for FPV and DIY FPV? So there you go. That's my biggest advice, Spaceman FPV. It will not be very long. We've got Witch Chatty saying, hello, I didn't know you live streamed. Yeah, we've been doing this. This is week number 22. Started as a bit of a challenge for myself to get to number 10, to do 10 weeks in a row. And here we are. This is the best part of my working week, answering your questions about FPV. And that's why we're going to be going through, talking about radios, walk snails, broken batteries, pinchers, thumbers, DJI goggles, a whole bunch of things. And if you've got some questions you would like answered about FPV, definitely throw them in the chat as well. And let's see, it looks like 533 kind of did the same thing as DIY FPV. Yeah, so that is this site. This is what they're talking about here. A little bit different though. And I wish anybody who does any project, this is how much I believe in DIY FPV. Like I want anyone who's doing any project in FPV to succeed. I think, is it called their part picker or something? So on their site here, 533, if you go to part picker, you can select some things to put them together. And I believe they're compatible in terms of on their site. Like if you want an ELRS receiver, you can choose some things, but a little bit different over on DIY FPV if we're looking at like the catalog, and then when you have a look at the builder and the way that you can plan and do some builds and stuff. But yeah, 533 doing some cool things. And a huge shout out to them. You might have just seen them. They are also integrated to DIY FPV. Here they are. So we have their library and catalog integrated into DIY FPV. So a huge shout out there. And it's all about collaboration, working together. So very, very, very exciting stuff. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the first thing, talk about FPV. And I'm going to answer LL's question in just a second, but always the first thing that we need to talk about when it comes to FPV and the live stream, it is mental health, guys. Like if you are struggling, I know it's not the most popular topic to talk about, and it probably causes people to like hit the dislike button or something. But if you appreciate that, maybe you do want to hit the like button for me bringing attention to it. Just please don't feel alone. It's not weak to speak. FPV is amazing. It is a life-changing hobby. And if you would like somebody to connect with and just talk to, we're going to put the Discord link down below. And like I say all the time, if you really are injured or suffering and you broke your leg, you go to the doctor. Do the same. If you broke your mind or it's just not feeling right, please go and find somebody to talk to, because it's not weak to speak. Our FPV community, according to my YouTube statistics, is like 99.98% male, and males are really terrible at talking to each other and just sort of getting their feelings out there, and they tend to bottle a lot of things up, and that is not good. I suffered with some mental health issues in the past. I had really bad depression. It wasn't great. Thankfully, things are a lot better now. But I want to just bring attention to that if that is you, if you are suffering, whether you go get somebody professionally to talk to, please reach out, speak to somebody, because you are valued, you are cared, and I care about you. I care about you watching this right now. The world is a better place with you in it, and I just want to say thanks for being here. And our community is really, really supportive as well. So just a little bit of stuff I wanted to talk about mental health. All right, moving on. Let's talk about FPV. LL is saying, I would like to ask if the single Hall sensor might cause issues like in the Tango 2. So what are you referring to? You're talking about the Radiomaster GX12. I guess that's what let's talk about that. All right, let's answer some questions about the Radiomaster GX12. It's the release I did on my video a couple of days ago. It caused some controversy. I even had to do a follow-up video about it, but here is some more deep dive specifics. We're going to be talking about this radio. So if you've got some questions, let me know. And one of the big ones is we're talking about the gimbals that are in here. And so from my understanding, and these are Hall effect gimbals, however, they have one magnet on the bottom, which tracks things, which is a little bit different to say this radio. I've got so many things all over the place. This bad boy. So I've got the Boxer Crush here, which is an outstanding radio. I really, really like it. But the magnets on these are in the gimbals, where in the GX12, they're like on the bottom right there. Now, in terms of does it cause any issues, I've had no problems flying mine around. And when you say, is there any issues like on the Tango 2, I still don't have issues with my Tango 2. And I have had that for like 4 or 5 years. So I've never had an issue. I use the Tango 2 an awful lot. I still think the Tango 2 is an amazing radio. Like if I was staying in the Crossfire ecosystem, I would fly the TBS Tango 2 all the time. So I can't really talk to any problems or failings that you might have with having the magnets on the bottom of the gimbals, like in the Radiomaster GX12. Time will tell. Maybe some other people have had some issues. Like if you've had issues or heard about issues, please let me know. I can only talk about my experience. I don't think it's a cause for concern. And if it was a cause for concern, I feel like Radiomaster tends to do the right thing as well. So if you did order one of them, there would probably, and they found there was a significant problem or a design flaw or something. And look, I'm guessing here. I'm not putting any words in Radiomaster's mouth. I think that they would probably back that up with some support, or they would support their customers. Let's have a look. We don't need any houses to burn down right before Christmas. Yeah, so we're going to be talking, that's from random. Let's see, compatible features. Stu's always pressing my buttons. Okay. All right, continuing about this. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted about the gimbal. Some other features about the Radiomaster GX12. Like I mentioned, it's got those folding antennas, which I think are absolutely outstanding, and probably the big one, and I want to make this really clear to a lot of people. This really is the most feature-packed radio we have ever had. I really, really like the Radiomaster GX12. It was only because of Stickman Steve that I had to redo my video, and that doesn't mean that any other reviewers out there have, been disingenuous. I fully believe, like I was on board to do that, and even other pinching pilots say that this is an amazing radio. However, I got this comment, and this really made me laugh. Check this out. And it said, let's see, I took a screenshot. It was so good. If I jump over here, why is that? What's going on here? Oh, it's on this computer, this screen. Oh, don't open it in Photoshop. Okay, hopefully my computer hasn't broken, because all I can see is like the Photoshop icon spinning around. Goodbye, Photoshop. It's doing like the beach ball of death right now. Get out of here, Photoshop. Here we go. Edit with photos. This was one of the best comments I'd seen in a while. Oh, I loved this. So this is a huge shout out to Stickman Steve. It did make me laugh. There have been plenty of radios with switches up there for thumbers that they use just fine. The TX16, for example, Ian from MadTech just posted a follow-up, so we're talking about the GX12. But holy cow, does Stickman Steve has some massive meat cleavers for hands. No way he's going to feel comfortable with the GX12, Stu. If you had the chance, I'd love to see how Stickman Steve's goes with the Zorro, the Tyrannus, and all that sort of stuff. That made me giggle. And someone even posted a screenshot of that, which is right here. Look at this. So many different windows opened. Check this out. All right, so if you have large hands or meat cleavers, as some other people have called Stickman Steve's hands, I don't know. Does that... How can I scroll down here? Why is that not moving? gosh, I've lost it now. Now we're just, anyway, I'm sure you guys could have seen that, but yeah, he has definitely has some larger hands when it comes to holding a radio, so that might be a bit of an issue. If you have giant meat cleaving hands, maybe you'll have some issues with the Radiomaster GX12. Now, some other things I want to mention as well. I really do like the buttons. A couple of people asked about the faceplates, which I've got right here, and that is so you can take apart the top. I didn't really cover it in my video, and it was a little bit, I have to apologize right there because I forgot what I had filmed and what I had refilmed. So when you're trying to shoot a video, you're trying to remember everything and make sure you don't miss anything. I did talk about this in my original review, but then because I refilmed it with the help of Stickman Steve, just to talk about his giant meat cleavers right there. These are the little plates that you can get, and we'll hold this one up. You can actually swap those out. So you've got the little potentiometers right here, which to be honest, I never use a pot. If I'm flying around, I never use pots on my radios or anything like that. So that wasn't the issue for Steve. It was more just that the switches are right in the way, and I have an update, which I'll be able to talk about in a little bit once it's official, because talking to Radiomaster, it feels like their original comment of people can just 3D print their own. They don't think that the market was really interested in a latching switch. Might have been an oversight or just said a little bit loosely, like I'm going to say it was unofficial communication. So we will get an official response soon on what they think about the latching switch and what's going to be coming in future radios and updates and files and all that sort of stuff. So I just want to clarify that we will have an update. If you are a pilot who wants a latching switch, there is still hope yet, because that was one of my big issues with it as well. If I was going to get this new radio, that's what I love about my Radiomaster Pocket. It just wasn't the case with the GX12. All right, let me just get resorted right here. A little sip of water. All right. Let's see what some other people are saying before we talk about some walk snail stuff as well. Let's see. Is it Wallace Kid? He has this to say. Look at this for some fanciness. Here we go. He is saying, I'm getting back into the hobby after 7 years off. I need to replace my Turnigy Evolution and move on to ELRS. Yeah, absolutely. The Turnigy Evolution, I have to say, I really like that radio. Like 7 years ago, it was cool because we didn't have any shaped radios like this, like the Bumblebee, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. Every single radio was either the Tyrannus X9D Plus or some really, really cheap FlySky things. Now, some of the benefits about ELRS, you're never going to have dropouts like you did on the Turnigy Evolution. For its time, the Turnigy Evolution, I liked it. I flew it for a long time. The receivers really sucked. It was constant. Towards the end, I felt like my radio was failing. The gimbals weren't great. You get a lot of fail safes. However, if you want to jump over and look at the Radiomaster Pocket, that is like my favorite radio to date. And I've got every single radio here. Like there's so many radios throughout the house. The Radiomaster Pocket, it is cheap. It packs down really nicely. It's got a latching switch and it's ELRS. It can only do 350 milliwatts of power, but that's more than enough. Like I've never had a range issue when it comes to a fail-safe on that bad boy. You're going to always lose your video, I feel like 9 times out of 10 cruising around anyway. Let's have a look. Do the grips on the Boxer fit the GX12? No, I believe they're totally different actually, but I will double check for you. So this is the GX12. This is the Boxer. Yeah, even just looking from the shape, they're different. So you can see, this is hurting my arms right here, but yeah, totally different shapes. These grips are not going to fit this radio. I don't know, who's thinking about getting a new radio? Like that's probably something people need to consider as well. And here's the advice that I will give anybody. So we had that great one talking about upgrading from the Turnigy Evolution. If you what will a new radio allow you to do that your current radio doesn't already do? That's the big question. Save yourself the dollars. It would be great if I said, hey, everybody, go and buy these new radios. This is what you need to do. Use my affiliate link, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rich. But here's the truth. You don't need to do that. This is the one question. What is that new product? What is that new radio going to do that your current radio doesn't already let you do? If it's and you say, oh well, I can do some longer range, and then you can say to yourself, all right, is that worth $60 or is that worth the $100 upgrade? There's your answer. Is that worth the fail safes or the dropouts that I'm getting? Probably. Well, then there's your answer. That is the best way to decide if you need a new radio. If your answer is I want to be cool and have the latest and greatest stuff, save yourself some money. Like that's me telling you right now, someone who's been in the hobby for 10 years, don't upgrade before asking yourself, what else? What is this going to let me do that I can't already do? Someone's saying the Pocket sounds great. Yeah, I've got a bunch of reviews on it on my channel as well. And you'll see me using it all the time. So in a lot of my videos, you will see the Radio Master Pocket. Okie dokie. Moving on, I had this question that popped up in my email a little while ago. And let me see if I can find the screenshot that I took of it. Let's open this up, but not with Photoshop. And I'm hoping that I've blanked out all the details here, so I'm not doxing someone's privacy. Someone's saying, hey Stu, how are you, sir? Hope you're well. Thank you. I am very, very well. All right, but we had this question the other day. So this was from someone called Matt. If you can read the email, I tried to scribble it all out. Please don't do that. But it says, random question. I came across your YouTube channel and I'm trying to get into FPV drones for the first time. As per your recommendation, I'm getting the Walksnail $200 goggles and the Radio Master Pocket. Great combo. But I'm having a hard time finding a Mobular 8 Walksnail. Is the Meteor 85 basically the same thing? Or is it worth waiting on the Happy model Mobular because of the firmware? And then I had to explain a couple of things. The firmware that we are talking about specifically here, like ELRS, is the receiver that's going to talk to your radio. And as far as Walksnail comes, that is purely to talk to the goggles. So the video transmitter talking back to your goggles. And I thought, well, if you are having trouble finding the Mobular 8, what is the best way that you can find a Walksnail product? And this was like a perfect example of one of the things I can't wait to show about DIY FPV. The site wasn't live at well, it's not live at the time of he's would have got this response. But if we go here to the catalog and say the Mobular 8 was out of stock, right? And what's going on right here? This is probably the worst time. Okay, now if we look up Walksnail, this is where it's going to save so many people some time. Oh, look at this. Here's the Walksnail 1S kit, but we're still in whoops. Notice we're still in drones, like ready to fly, like the Mob 8. But look at this. If you would like to find some Walksnail compatible drones, we have all these right here. So a really, really powerful feature now. Not only can you search things inside here, but you can also limit and add some different filters in and things like that. So yeah, just very, very exciting stuff that I can't wait to have this site live, have it going out to you. So if you've ever wanted to find the right product, the right drone, without having to search through different places and worry about different firmwares, we're going to have some pretty powerful features. And then too, just for an example, if you want to click on them, it takes you to directly of where you can get them from, shows you if it's in stock, out of stock. You're going to be able to sort by like your locations, have it in different currencies. You're going to have your preferred stores. And there's no affiliates or anything like that. Like as soon as you click on this will just go directly. Hopefully this works. It'll take you directly to the store. So yeah, very, very cool stuff that I can't wait for people to have access to DIY FPV. If you've got any features you would like that site to have, please let me know. Johnny is saying, I just pre-ordered the GX12, looking forward to the all-in-one port at the top. Yeah, that's a great feature. You don't have to charge them all by USB. Let's talk about this radio though. So this is the Bumblebee, and this is from Jumper. This is going to be, you should see this on my channel soon. It just depends if it is done, if you see it this year, because I've already got some videos that I need to finish. But if I put the link up, we can go to that. Let's have a look here. So let's see. This is not the Jumper website. This is an Aussie place actually. But yeah, look, it is an interesting radio. I think it might have a place. It's just getting so crowded now. Probably the big one, this is going to be for thumbing pilots who like the Pocket or are thinking about getting the Pocket. It can go up to 1 watt. However, what we have right here, is it say, I think it's 1 watt, right? Where is the important RF output? I'm gonna say it's 1 watt. That's what it's made for. So maybe they want to do a little bit longer range. Here's probably. Why do companies do this and not put the most? It is. Here we go. It is. There we go. I was about to lose my mind here. So we've got 1 watt right there. Of course, it's rocking ELRS, but yeah. Here it is in the flesh. It's got a tiny little like micro module bay thing if you do want to add some nomads or something like that on the back. But again, what I would say is, who needs this? What can this offer you that your current radio can't already do? And as a pre-review, I'm going to say, is that worth the $100? If you already have something like the Radio Master Pocket? Probably not. The big one is really the ergonomics, but you'll see me flying this. You'll see Stickman Steve flying this thing around when the actual video comes out. For pinchers, I actually don't think you're going to have too much of an issue because, again, you don't have those little switches. You have a couple of latching switches on the top, but annoyingly, it's this little one right here and not this one right there. So I don't know. When it comes to designing a radio, I want my arm switch to be a latching switch and I want it to be the biggest button on the radio so it is easy to hit. I don't want to have to fiddle around and try to find this little hidden one that's behind something else. What do I need a momentary switch for when I can just have my, that's the same on both sides. So yeah, so that's going to be out soon. Why can't radios just get that right? Am I the odd one out here, like wanting a big latching switch on either side as an arm switch? Seems like a great idea. That was great about the TBS Tango 2. I do like the antenna on the top. I think that's good. I do not like antennas like this. So on the box review, what batteries does it use? 1 watt eats through power. It uses 18650s in there, and other people are saying so true. Just catching up on the chat. And Flexo 3D is saying, I managed to pick up a Boxer Crush for 120 around Thanksgiving. I would have thought about other radios, but not at that price. Yeah, that is outstanding. If you want to jump in and if you can get a radio like the Boxer Crush, that's going to be the major choice. That for $120, like, it's outstanding. That's probably, this is getting so hard. This probably brings us on to the next point. All right, let's talk about this. What's the right radio? Okay, so you would have seen a lot of people talking about it, GX12, Boxer Crushers. We've spoken about so many on this live stream, and the right radio is going to be different for everybody and everybody's needs. Let's even take money aside, and if all radios cost the same amount, some radios are still going to be better for some people. So for me, my favorite radio, the Radio Master Pocket, I love what it does. However, you notice I've put upgraded gimbals in here. Do I need to do that? Does it really let me do too much extra? No, I don't think so. Is it worth it? No. Do I fly every single day? Yes, for my job, and it was a bit of a treat for myself. Yeah, it's like going out for a fancy dinner. Do I really need to pay $50 for this steak? Probably not, but maybe you'll do it every once in a while. The same thing, it's almost like with some of those fancier features. This one right here. Okay, maybe you're a thumbing pilot. You really like that gamepad style feel in your hands. Maybe you want Gemini, which is where the GX12 comes in, when you like the built-in and the folding antennas. But it all comes down to what is going to be the right radio for you. And if you can find one that does a lot of your features for a cheap price, like $120 for something like this, that is an absolute steal. This radio, I feel like, is almost perfect as well. There's just a couple of things that I don't like. And number one for me would be, I want a foldable antenna on the top right here. So if they did, here's my dream radio, right? If you are listening out there and you are Radio Master or somebody else would like to, here, let's build Stuart's radio. Here's what I would recommend. I want a small form factor For me, a pinching radio like this is great. It folds down easily. If this had built-in Gemini, and I think that's kind of it. Like that's all I need. And for some people, if you're going to future-proof it, maybe make it go up to 1 watt. Other than that, it's great. Oh, and also a working on-off button. Like that's how much I love my Radio Master Pocket. I still turn it off by putting this jank screw in here to short some little things out. And, you know, that's Stickman Steve always laughs at me, but that sort of shows you just how much I like that radio. But yeah, that'd be my dream radio. Other people talking about the Zorro as well. Yeah, they like the Zorro. Like we are so spoiled. Other people like the Tango too. We are so spoiled, and there is no perfect radio that does everything for everybody. It is different strokes for different folks, horses for courses. I'm sure that might be a saying there, but yeah, just check that. All right, Spaceman, hey Stu, why did the Jumper T20 Gemini not get the same as the RMGX12? What are you talking about there? The same what? The same, not sure. Please follow that up. Gemini is overkill for most of us. It really seems good for long ranges. Yeah, should you get the new Gemini systems? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And here is the thing that you need to understand. If you're going to get Gemini, it is not the be all and end all. You are going to get better range by just sticking, like the true thing is using that crossband, right? But you're still going to get better range using the 900 megahertz system. By the time you are going to get a failsafe on a 900 megahertz or a low band system, your 2.4 is already long gone. The one advantage I think that Gemini really outpaces other things is that if you are cruising around and you are in a noisy or a sketchy RF environment, so maybe you're doing some bando flying, maybe you're flying around some cell towers or just something that is a little bit sketchy and you are prone to fail safes, having both of those on 2 different bands could be a lifesaver. It's not saying you should go further than you should still be flying within your 2.4 range link if you're worrying about it for redundancy. But yeah, it's a good thing to have, but it's not going to get you any extra range that you couldn't normally get under normal typical circumstances with your 900 megahertz. And also understand too, you're going to need some special receivers if you want to do and fly around on 2.4 and low band at the same time. New receivers are going to go a long way. We need to use them in order to get the full benefits of a Gemini radio system. Now, in saying that, do I think it's good? Yes. If it becomes standard, is it all still beneficial for even my everyday flying? Maybe if it saves me having that one extra failsafe 1 in 100 times, sure, why not? It's not that much more expensive to implement the antennas and the receivers. Like, it is good tech. It's just for most people, it's not going to drastically change what they're doing and their normal day-to-day flying whatsoever. Anyway, now if you're in a country where some things are getting jammed and there's a lot of radio interference and trying to get your message through is absolutely critical, maybe you're in some conflicting places in the world, well then it's a totally different cup of tea. And I'm melting today. I don't know what the temperature is where you guys are. I think old man Russ sent me a message the other day and it was like minus 17 degrees over in the States somewhere. Spaceman, please follow that up. Why did the Jumper T20 Gemini not get the same attention? Oh, the same attention. Okay. Why did it not get the same attention as the GX12? Probably. You know what? That's a really good point. We had one big receiver that did it. I don't know. Maybe I would have to go back and watch my review. Man, that is such a good point though. Yeah, why we already had a natively Gemini radio, but no one really cared. Maybe is that Radio Master's marketing? Have we all been tricked and falling into talking about the GX12? Am I part of the problem right here? I don't know, because yeah, that seemed like a pretty fine radio. Maybe people weren't ready to switch. Maybe, okay, maybe ELRS wasn't as developed as it is now. We didn't have as many features to use. And also, we didn't have as many receiver options to use right now. And Jumper has a few quality control issues in the past where people don't trust them as much. If I had to pick one company over another, I would say Radio Master in the past has performed better and followed up better with support for some of their projects. But if you've got some ideas, please let me know. Flexo saying it's Jumper, too many people on the Radio Master bandwagon. I don't know if it's about a bandwagon. Like they just make cool products, like the Pocket that we've spoken about for 90% of this stream. It's just a cool little radio. It was 4 months ago. Radio Master has proven to be the best. That's what Kane, I don't even know. Can I get a channel? That's what he's saying right there. And also GX12 is dual band. I'm pretty sure that okay, that might be the big difference. I'm going to have to go back and check this. Could the Jumper TX12, if that's, I just want to make sure I'm getting T20 Gemini, I should say, could that do both bands at the same time, low band and your 2.4 simultaneously? I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. All right, or was it just 2.4 that we're flying around on, but it was sending out both packets at the same time? Yeah, maybe I think that might be the difference, because if that is the case, well then that's totally different. Okay, third eye FPV. How long does it take for your Pocket Crush to arrive from Radio Master? I have been waiting. I don't know. I can't answer that because mine was sent out pre-review before we were allowed to talk about it. So I had mine probably shipped pretty priority. I can't tell you the answer for that. Other people, let me know. If you've ordered from Radio Master, how long is it acceptable to wait? You can also order them from other places. Doesn't really help if you put an order in though. Let's see. Someone's saying hit that thumbs up button. I don't even check those things. I'm going to press the thumb button myself. Let's see if we can make a difference. We've had 2 thumbs up, people. Okay, let's see if we can change this right now. We've got 80 people watching, and I never call this out. If you are watching this video right now, do me a favor. I'm going to press the thumbs up button. Let's see if it does anything different. So let's see if it actually changes. 2 people. All right, and I've just made it number 3. So if you're watching this at home, listening, you know what? I'm going to actually make the effort to move my hand a little bit. Press that thumbs up button, Stu. We will help you. And I never, ever call that out. Anybody who's watched this for my streams, yeah, we've been doing this for 22 weeks in a row, and I never make a big deal about pressing that thumbs up button. So yeah, there we go. Hit that. I don't know if it refreshes live or anything like that. We'll take a while. Caleb is saying ordering from China takes ages. My beta FPV order took 3 months. Man, I hope it doesn't take that long. Let's see. And Keith is saying at UAVFutures, can you please hold up and show the Zorro comparison to the GX12? How about this? After the stream, I will do that. It's just the GX12 is downstairs and I can't leave the stream. I'm going to have to go down there, find out where it is, bring it back up here. I can't do that right now in the middle of this live stream. Like it would take me a couple of minutes to go and find it, and I don't want to leave the rest of the people hanging. I'm pretty sure they'd be a little bit upset, but we can do that after the stream. I'll post some pictures in my Discord as well when we're all hanging out. My Darwin FPV order has taken over a month. It's really at 40. You just have to reload the page to update it. All right, let's have a look. Hey, okay, we went up to 56. So there you go. Thanks very much, guys. I don't know how much it if you are one of the people who pressed the thumbs up, I want to say thank you very much. All right. Let's have a look, because I'm going to talk about pinchers and thumbers and my DJI goggles in just a second. But when should you fly a broken battery? Recently, I've seen some posts, and we're going to talk a little bit about if you're getting into FPV, it is inevitable that you're going to crash and your battery is going to... Where did I put it? What a first world problem to have, hey? Everything's hidden under piles and piles of radios. So, you know, I've got one of these packs right here, a little 4S pack. You do not want to be breaking these things all the time because they're expensive. So we're going to find out when is it the right time to think about saving your battery, or when should you definitely dispose of it and dispose of it safely versus what some other people are going to recommend, including myself. And the big warning for this video, I'm going to say this is where I offer advice, but I don't always follow it. So do as I say, not as I do. Now, generally, when you crash a battery, the number one thing that you need to look at to make it unusable is if any of the cells are punctured. If you go over and you pick up your LiPo, and I don't know about the chemicals and what they actually do to you, but if you can smell a sweet sort of smell, that is a punctured LiPo. That is really bad. It's probably really toxic for you as well, but that means that cell is toast. If that has happened, there's a couple of options. The safest one, dispose of your battery. You don't need it. So you can either throw it in a bit of salty water. The unsafe way to dispose of a battery is I take them out to like a big space and just smash them a bunch of times with like an axe and cut it in half. And yeah, it's going to burst into flames. It's going to let out a lot of energy, but that is a quick way to make sure that there is no energy left in here. If you just throw these in the bin, it can be quite dangerous, or you can take them to a LiPo disposing place. So yeah, number one, if you can smell or visibly see a punctured LiPo, it's toast. I don't recommend doing it. Now you can separate the cells in here if you don't want to spend the extra cash and you are happy to, could say, convert a 6S pack into a 4S pack or a 4S pack. If you would like to save the cells and break it down and then turn it into a 3S pack, you can do that. Don't cut the wires all at the same time would be my biggest tip. That is possible though. Some of the soldering is going to be a little bit annoying when it comes to the little plates that they've soldered on inside here. It's not as simple as your normal soldering onto your flight controllers or anything like that. But that is an option. Now, here's the tricky part. If you look at your battery, it doesn't smell weird. It is totally mangled up though and looks quite deformed. The worse it looks, probably going to be the better. But sometimes, yeah, I have flown batteries that look terrible. They have taken an absolute beating, but their cell integrity is still really, really good. And how do you check that? Number one, you can put them on your charger and you can actually check like the internal resistance when you're looking at a battery. It will go through. I'll see later if I can put some pictures on the screen. But you can check the internal resistance of each one of these cells. And if one is drastically different than the others, that's going to be a problem. Batteries or the cells in like a 4S or a 6S battery, they like to be relatively the same. If they're really out, don't do it. And the other part is, when it comes to charging or discharging, that's when batteries are going to burst into flames. So as well as having good safety etiquette, if you put your batteries and you're charging them on your bed, you're being stupid. Don't do that. Like, have somewhere safe to charge them, because 9 times out of 10, when you are charging your battery, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, that is when you're going to have any issues. I have never had in my 10 years of flying a battery issue when I've been charging or discharging or anything like that. And I have smashed plenty of batteries. However, I don't fly unsafe LiPos. Like, if they are visibly damaged, I'm like, okay, that's done. I will dispose of them. It is not worth saving $30 if you're going to be burning your house down, your garage down, or anything like that. So that's my little advice. Look for it visibly if it's damaged, or if you can smell like a sort of sweet, fruity smell. That is your LiPo. Get rid of it, or at least get rid of that punctured cell. If it still seems okay, charge it up or check the internal resistance. I would watch it very, very carefully on those first couple of charges and give it a fly and see how it goes. And you never know. Maybe you do have an okay LiPo, because I see plenty of pictures online that are like, is this LiPo okay? It just all comes down to the cell and how much damage it's taken and is it punctured. Now, the flip side of that, you might see some LiPos where the LiPo was fine, but the balance lead's been cut, or the wires have been snipped right here. If that's the case, that's totally fine. That is fine to replace, as long as you're doing it safely. And by that, I mean cutting each one of these one at a time. You should have no issues whatsoever. So yeah, that's my little bit of advice right there. Let's see, someone's saying keep all mine inside ammo cans, even when I charge. That's a really good tip there. So that's from Hunt Boom. If you've got some other things that you look out for when you're dealing with LiPos as well, please throw them in the chat. Let's see. I charge mine near the fireplace. I had to throw a few into them over the years. Here's a tip as well. If you are going on holiday, so maybe it's holiday season and you've got a bunch of lipos that you're worried about, you don't want to leave them just sitting in your house, the best place for them is in a cooking pot in the oven. So that way, if it does burst into flames, well, the oven's usually pretty good at handling a lot of heat and things that are on fire. Spaghetti FPV, you've got his little comment right here. I think that's worth highlighting. He says, when I've run bats down too hard, I found giving them a really slow charge up to storage voltage seems to help. Yep. And if you put them down too low, you can actually save batteries. It's not good for the cell health, but if you fly a battery down, or maybe you do a really hard punch out, it gets stuck in a tree, and then all of a sudden, by the time you get your drone back, it's like 2.6 volts per cell. When you go to put that into your charger, it's going to say cell error. It's not going to recognize it because it needs to be at 3.3 volts per cell. You can also stick them on nickel metal hydride, nickel metal, like a NiCad. I don't know what the actual chemical name is right there. I always just call it a NiCad battery. But yeah, you can charge it like that for like 30 seconds at a time, and it will boost the cell voltage until it is safe enough to put it into a proper balance charge with your LiPo charger. So that's another little tip there. But again, don't do that. That's I'm advising you don't do that. That's just what I have done in the past, and I haven't had any issues. You might be a little bit different. Put the battery leads directly into an outlet. Bada boom, bada boom. They charge. Yeah, do not do that. Get that special lithium fire extinguisher, maybe using I don't know what this is, but maybe that's the case. Yeah, and do not put a LiPo fire out with water, because the oxygen inside the water and the lithium, it doesn't help it at all. If you actually want to discharge your batteries faster, or you want to dispose of them faster, and they're punctured, and you've chopped them up, you can actually drip some water on there and you'll see the reaction. It actually releases more energy. Like, it's a better way to discharge them or have some catastrophic failure, so to speak. Don't just leave them in the oven. Don't leave the oven on when your lipos are inside. Yeah, that is also hey, happy RC Fly. Yeah, that's also a good tip as well. Don't turn your oven on. Every time you turn it on, you've left something in there. Double check that you've removed it. But it is a good place. It is a good little tip right there. If you are going away on holidays, you need somewhere to store some dangerous goods, oven is always a good idea. All right, last two things I want to talk about. Thanks so much for everybody who has tuned into the stream. It is the best part of my working week. I got to remember too, we're going to be talking after this in the Discord for a little bit, hanging out. I want to have a bit of a chat, learn about what you guys are flying, and maybe I answer some of your questions. But pinchers versus thumbers, which is best, and should you switch? Now, this again, because this is like a radio focused stream, like this radio right here. A lot of radios suit different types of pilots, or both types of pilots. This is a perfect example of something that fits both. Doesn't mean that it's a master of all. For me, I fly around with my thumbs, which means if you are new to FPV, there's two sort of ways that people and pilots control their drones. Number one, I would say, is the thumbing pilot, and might be more popular with people who play a lot of video games or coming from consoles and Xbox and PlayStation and that sort of stuff, because it just feels kind of natural. However, the other option is what people would say is pinching. Now, the advantage of this, you are much more dexterous, or you have a much more, not a better range of motion, but the fidelity that two fingers here offer over just your caveman thumbs slapping it around on the top is going to be better. But the real question is, what is the best one for you? For me, I have wasted an awful lot of my youth playing video games growing up as a kid. So my thumb dexterity, I would say, is far better than what I would get without some significant retraining of pinching. But if you have never played consoles before, you haven't been a big video game player, you are coming into the hobby, my recommendation would be to have the most amount of natural benefit is to use the pinching method. Other people also use like a hybrid crab pinch thing, which sometimes Stickman Steve does. But yeah, just if you are pinching the radio, I do feel like that is a superior way of flying. Don't ever tell Stickman Steve that I said that. But if you want to jump in And the superior way of flying, I think, that offers the most control and the most precise movement is probably pinching. Now, there's probably a video there if at some top tier level racing, if we could see what different pilots are actually flying, that would give us some evidence. We could at least have a look at some of the data to find out what gives you the best advantage. But at the end of the day, if you're just flying around having fun, do what feels most comfortable for you. Maybe you don't need that extra 5% dexterity that you could get from pinching, and it's too hard to relearn. Maybe you're too old like myself. Yeah, I don't know. Other people are saying, yep, I've played a few video games in my past. If you want wrist pain, pinch with the Radio Master Pocket, okay? Ever find when you thumb grip, you got to reset your grip? No, not really. Maybe it doesn't seem like it's that big of an issue for me. Like it's, I don't know, here's where it might be different. If you are flying flat out for like 2 minutes in a proper FPV race, yeah, you might be annoying if you can feel your thumb slipping or something. But if I'm flying around, I take my hands off all the time. If I'm just doing some freestyle or some general cruising. So that might be a consideration if you're into racing as well. By pinching, you don't just have one thumb sliding off. You can get some pretty spiky different stick ends and things to customize your radios as well. Spaghetti's saying we all hold our radios in different ways, and our quads don't care. Yeah, that's right. I played guitar. I've never had my hands in the correct position. Okay, I just started out thumbs, but when I did racing in sim, I just started to pinch naturally, and now pinch only. There you go. Yeah, I think for racing there probably is a definite argument of you are going to the races probably to be as fast as you can be, and I would guess that you'd be faster being a pinching pilot. All right, just put a bit of honey on your stick end so it sticks, you know, or a bit of hot glue. What could go wrong with a bit of super glue on there? All right, now the last thing I want to talk about before we jump over to my Discord is these bad boys. So the DJI Goggles N3, these turned up, and I actually have to give a shout out to, I don't even know if many people use Banggood anymore, but without them, they were like, hey Stu, you want to look at these? And I was like, you know what? I do, because DJI never responds to anybody's emails. Well, they definitely don't respond to my emails. So you're going to be seeing maybe a video about these in the future. I cannot wait till they can bind up to some O3 air units, but it will be very interesting when the O4 air unit launches, and I believe you won't have to wait much longer. However, I want to say straight off the bat, they are kind of comfortable on my face. With my big noggin in here, I didn't really have too many issues. You can't focus the screen or anything. Are they more comfortable than the Walk Snail goggles? They are heavier, but they fit better. So it's a little bit of catch-22. They might press on, excuse me, the new DJI goggles, they might press on your face a little bit more, but I do feel like for my face, they fit quite ergonomically, I would say, and also they slant down a little bit. Now, I have to think that this is for design, and does that mean that the screen is ever so slightly a little bit longer away? Like looking at the hypotenuse of it, I don't know, because the screen was pretty clear. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about these a little bit. Although don't know which of my eyes is dominant from memory when I was trying to figure that out. But when I was switching my eyes inside, trying to do a little bit of testing, if I was getting a little bit of ghosting when I was looking at it. So anyway, lots of exciting things to come. But my problem is, like I mentioned, maybe at the start of this, I'm pretty sure that mine is broken. Oh, have I fixed it? Oh no. So yeah, this button always seems to be getting stuck in that position. Every time I try to adjust a menu or go through something, it gets stuck on the right-hand side right here, which is, I don't know, I thought DJI was better than that, like for a big billion-dollar company. Maybe they've been taking some design lessons from Cadex. There's a bit of a bad joke in there somewhere. But if you have any other questions, please let me know, because in just a little bit, I'm going to be signing out of the stream. I am going to be heading over to my Discord, which you can see right here, and let's have a look. We're going to jump into, let me just change some of these. Edit channel name. Live chat. All right, let's do this. So you will see, let me get this on the screen for you guys. If you want to jump in, say hi. We will be just, if you go over to my Discord, you'll see this right here. So under live chat, that's where I'm going to be hanging out after the stream for a little bit. I do have some other things I want to go film today. I got some really, really cool stuff that I can't wait to show you. A heap of videos coming out, but that's where I'm going to be after this. But we'll spend a couple more minutes answering your questions, and then I'm going to jump in there. And I really want to hear about your flight experiences. Like, how did you start flying? What's your favorite thing to fly? Depending on how many people we get in there, if you'd like to come in and say hi, it might be a cool thing to do. Spaghetti, no question, just a statement. You're a legend, mate. Great for the hobby, a true FPV ambassador. I'm going to just say thanks, brother. I'm glad you appreciate it. This is the best part of my working week, hanging out with you guys, and I really love FPV. I want what's best for the hobby, so it's great that you feel like that. I am going to give my Patreon a shout out and my Patreon supporters as well. They're without them, I couldn't do this. It makes a huge difference. So if you would like to sign up, that link's going to be down there below. And I also am going to be so proud when DIY FPV launches, because for me, I think DIY FPV is going to have a bigger impact than even what UAVFutures has on FPV. I know I've gotten a lot of people flying, but I know that DIY FPV and how it's going to be so community driven and just so many people using it, it's a very bright time for a hobby. And it's taken like a year of work behind the scenes, like so much work we've put into DIY FPV, and it's really, really close. Let's see. Mr. I don't know how to pronounce that. Fluorothine is saying, when do we expect collaborations with some hardware makers to see your designs? I actually got a comment the other day when someone said, well, you bought this, you said, what about this? And here's a, well, okay. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but it was about the GX12 and how I asked about latching switches. And then they came back in just some chats. We're like, what about you saying there's no latching switch? You should have told me that people really wanted this. I said, I kind of did mention that, but you seemed okay with it. But it's also not my job to design the best radio. Like, it's not my, unless a company comes and it's not my responsibility to design the best radio for FPV. My responsibility is to give the viewers the right information to make the right choice. Like, you guys are my boss that decide this. So I thought that was a little bit rich there. But if a company would like to talk to me about designing a good radio, well, I basically just went through some of the features that I think people need to see. And there's not going to be one radio that's perfect. You sort of need a dedicated pinching radio and a dedicated thumb radio. So I don't know. What stick ends do I recommend? That is from Tyler. And let me put this on the screen. Thanks for your question, Tyler. And I would say, here's the thing about stick ends. I don't even really bother with them. Like, they might be a hit and miss thing. There might be some big game changing or deal breakers for some people. In my day-to-day flying, I fly more radios, I would feel like, than 99% of the FPV community. It's a fun little extra to have if you have an issue with your stick ends. And this goes for any product. If you have an issue with that product or something you'd like to change, then look into it. But if you are flying around and they are fine, you don't need to change. Don't buy into that hype. Don't feel like you have to buy something just because it's different, just because you have that option. In human psychology, we always want to get that thing that is a little bit better, that is that little bit of an upgrade or just a little bit of an expression to think it's going to be better. I'm telling you now, flying around for 10 years, stick ends, have I ever given them any real consideration? That's on any default radio today, you're going to be fine with what they got there. Sure, some people might like them. I have seen some thumbing pilot stick ends, which are like big cups that almost cradle your thumb, like not a suction cap, but like two dinner plates on there. But I'm fine with the current ones that most people fly. Look, maybe people are different. Maybe stick ends are a huge thing and I don't know about it. But I would say save your money, my friend. There's better things to spend your money on. The default stock ones are going to be absolutely fine. Other people saying I like sharp, spiky stick ends. The best stick ends are like, what's the best quad? You use the ones you use the most. Remember, fear the guy who practices the one move a million times. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, just use the default ones. Like I'm sure other people. Someone saying let's start with the UAVFutures branded stick ends. Okay, and other people are saying the metal ones get rough on a cold day. Thumb drops are fantastic for me as a thumber, but the stock ones work too. Your thumbs are the best stick ends. Yeah. All right. I'm going to say thank you so much for tuning in here, everybody. It is the best part of my working week. If you're one of my patrons, thank you so much. You are the lifeblood of this channel. That link is also going to be down below. So maybe you would like to say, today is the day. You know what, Stu? I watch a lot of your streams. I appreciate your videos. I'm going to sign up. And if that is you, if you are that one person who's like, yeah, I will support you for even $1 a month, huge shout out, brother. I do appreciate that. So thank you. It will go a long way to helping support the channel. Other people give me some thumbs up right here. Basically, it's Stu. I'm saying use what you got. Use it more and it won't matter. Yeah. Everybody can. I've seen amazing pilots who fly far better than me and they only have one working hand. So a stick end is not going to make any difference in the grand scheme of things. If they can fly with one less hand, a little spiky metal stick end is not going to make a difference. We've got Johnny DRC. He's in the chat as well. Johnny DRC, have you been here the whole time or have I just missed your comments right there? And I am conscious of the time. Like I know I said I'd be going into Discord. I will do that soon. I should give a shout out to, well, I'm wearing a cool Luma t-shirt, which is an Australian brand. A shout out to Phaser FPV because each week I should say like once a month, they support the channel and I do have a sponsor there with Phaser FPV. They send me some coffee. So yeah, shout out to them with Central Coast Coffee. I appreciate it. And so does my wife. My wife quite likes their coffee as well. So if you'd like to check that out, Central Coast Coffee, go check them out. Say, hey, Stu sent me here. But they've been in FPV for a long time as well. Someone saying just hopped on Discord. Johnny DRC's been here for 30 minutes. Other people saying Fly Tribe. Yeah, you know what? I need to do more with Fly Tribe because I would love to share some cool things we're doing. When I made those little pilot cards of like Bruce and Zoe FPV and stuff, that would be cool. But other than that, I'm going to say subscribe for more FPV related content. I need to turn this aircon on because I am absolutely melting. But I'm seeing another question here. I don't want to ever... it is hard to stop streaming when people ask questions that I'm like, okay, I'll give you my answer here. Like, that's why you're tuning in. So this one is from Zeno. He's saying, late to the stream. And because you've tuned in, brother, I was just about to log off, but I will answer your question. You've taken the time to write it, so I'll take the time to answer it. He's saying, late to the stream, what would you think would be a nice Tango replacement? From factor-wise, with the Zorro, it seems the best fit, or any others. Well, are you a pincher, or are you a thumbing pilot? A lot of people like the Zorro. I actually didn't enjoy it too much. I do have a Zorro review. I mean, like, I didn't not enjoy it, but it wasn't my favorite. Really, the one that I am blown away by is the Radio Master Pocket. So that is my #1 radio of choice. And if you said to me, Stu, this is how good it is, all right? There's two. Let me move some of these things. These two right here, and it looks like, for some reason, both of these turned out to be pink radios. I don't know how that happened. But the Boxer Crush is an awesome radio, especially with the gimbals in here. I just don't like the antenna. I find that a little bit annoying, but it does everything that I want it to do. Or if you are a thumbing pilot, I really like this. So the just standard old school pocket. I've had this forever. And like I mentioned at the start, like I'm a thumbing pilot. I love my Tango too. I fly this so much, and you can tell how much I like it because I still fly it today with this little custom piece of fishing line and a bolt just because I dropped the radio and broke this little switch in here. But I've had this for a long time. I've never had any issues. So yeah, that's my go-to radio right there. That would be my choice. All right, he's saying he's a thumber. Yeah, there you go. So that's what I would recommend. And the best part, it's cheap. Like, does anybody not like the Radio Master Pocket? It's got a foldable antenna. It has a latching switch, which I use for my arm switch. So that's on both sides right there. You can tell when it's fully depressed or when it's let out correctly. Momentary switch, a pot, if that actually suits you, but does everything for me. And I've never had any fail-safe issues or anything like that. Too easy. Where's the PlayStation 2 remote radio you promised? Well, that's what I'm talking about right here. Shoot, FPV. That's where I say, oh, shoot. You know, I'm meant to be leaving here, guys. I'm meant to be jumping in talking about Discord. Look at me complaining about sending me a super chat. No, that's not the case. I want to say thanks so much. He sent through our super chat right there. So thank you for the absolute legend, Stu. I think one of the best persons in FPV. Thank you. So it's my pleasure there, brother. I'm glad that you appreciate it because I want to get more people flying. And believe it or not, the most important thing really is the people. Like, FPV changed my life. And I've also been in some not great places mentally with like my mental well-being, and FPV has been a huge improvement to my life in that regard as well. So not only do I get to share people's amazing, like get them flying with this amazing hobby, it can also improve their life as well. So it's like a amazing, it's an amazing hobby that also changes people's lives. So thank you. That's very, very kind of you to send that donation through. So absolutely. Two thumbs up there. So as Stickman Steve would say, thumbs up, thumbs down are in the middle. A big thumbs up. And we got Zeno sending through some pounds as well. Okay. Thank you very much there. He didn't even put a message in there. What a legend, just sending through some love. So I'm glad that you guys appreciate it. And I truly believe you'll love what we've been building with DIY FPV as well, because like this is here. Where did I go on DIY FPV? This is going to change our hobby as well when we're having a look at what this can do. This is sort of what you're supporting in the background as well. This is like a true passion project of love that has had so much work put into it, but to be able to build DIY FPV and release that very, very soon, it's going to change the game for everything, for like so much. The future is so bright for FPV, and there's never been an online tool with resources and communities like we have right here, all in one place, with an amazing team behind it. It's not just me as well. I want to give a shout out to the whole, like, to the tireless devs that are working here. A big shout out to Toms and Roberts, who are just putting so much work into making this the best site. And it looks incredible too. Like, everything that is in here, I never knew there was so much work. I never knew the amount of work that coding took, even just to making things look right, and art styles, and the amount of meetings and looking at the builders. And I don't know, it's just very, very exciting. So thank you. Okay, we're planning to leave now, guys. All right. Stu got me buying the DJI goggles. All right, that was probably Grumpy Trev there. That's from Leadus. So Grumpy Trev loved the DJI goggles. They were a game changer way back in the day, about 5 years ago. Someone else is saying, got my first, that's Uzino, got my first Lava X drone based on seeing Stu's review. Thanks for being awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, because that's what it's all about. Just sharing you my impressions, sharing you other people, other pilots, because it'd be very easy to say, this is the best gear, this is what you should fly. But I'm just the same as you guys. Like, when I was working as a teacher, I wanted to know, is this worth spending my money on? Is this a good product to get? There was no FPV community around to share that information, so I decided I'm going to start this myself and share just my findings. I'm no RF engineer, I'm no product designer or anything like that, so I can't tell you about the technical specs, but I feel like I can tell you on the ground level, flying around with your mates, this FPV product is this fun, and here's how to take those fun products and have an awesome time. So I'm glad you can enjoy that. All right, I'm logging out, guys. I am going to jump over for a bit of a chat over on my Discord, which the link should be down there below. So if you'd like to jump in, say hello. I'll be in the voice chat. I think it's called live chat over here. I'll show it on the screen. It's going to be right here. So if you've got a question that you just want to ask me, you didn't want to jump on the stream, this won't be recorded or anything. So if you just want to jump in, say hello. Yeah, we'll do that. And I kind of want to hear about your FPV journeys and stories and what you started with, or I don't know, we can talk about anything. And then I got to go film some stuff. So, all right, I'm going to see you guys over there. Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content. Give me 2 minutes to get a drink. And if you want to have a chat, I'll be in that Discord. All right. Happy flying. Thanks so much for those super chats, you two legends. And I will speak to you maybe very, very soon. I will be turning the aircon on.